So what's the head coach think is the biggest issue with this team through 1 week?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you on a Tuesday edition. Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Tuesday, September 9th and a Wednesday, September 10th. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Lions for today, brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You know what to do. Follow us on all social media platforms. That includes on our Locked On Lions Instagram, also on our TikTok. Coming up in a little bit, Robert Porcher, the newest member of the Lions Hall of Fame. They call it the Pride of the Lions. He's getting inducted at halftime on Sunday against the Bears. He will join us coming up momentarily. We got to get into Dan Campbell and what he said at 97 won the ticket earlier this morning. We'll talk to Robert. We've got a call of the day, a momentous occasion to celebrate our call of the day. And if you want to be our call of the day, go to www.speakpipe.com/Dairy podcast page. All right, let's get into it. First and foremost, before I talk about Dan Campbell and his radio appearance this morning, how about that big, giant, fat L that the Chicago Bears got last night? I mean, Ben Johnson, just take that L. Just hold it. Just hold it, Benedict. Just hold that L. Caress it. There is nothing like watching Benedict Johnson and the Bears blow a fourth quarter double-digit lead. It was 17-6 in the fourth. And here comes the young buck, the blonde bombshell, the mayor of Ann Arbor, J.J. McCarthy, carving up the Bears like it's Thanksgiving in the kitchen. And then, end of the game, Vikings take the lead, 27-24, on an unbelievable scramble run touchdown by JJ. All right? But there's a lot of time left for the Bears. They've got a timeout left and the 2-minute warning. No, they don't. The Bears, Cairo Santos, kicks the ball into play. You think Ben Johnson messed up Dan Campbell messed up the first half and the timeout situation against the Packers. That was bad. All right. And Dan admitted he made some mistakes. But Bears head coach Benny Boy doesn't kick the ball out of bounds or short to where it can't even be fielded in that little zone there, the fielding zone, or whatever they do, or just blast it out of the back of the end zone. Santos kicks it, and the Vikings, it's a couple yards deep, but you see Kevin O'Connell telling his return man, bring it out, because that runs the clock. So with 2:05 to go, it took 10 seconds to make the play happen. 1:55, boom, that's a 2-minute warning right there where the clock stopped anyway. What a bad coaching decision by Johnson. And you know what? Everybody on social media last night after the first drive was like, oh, the Lions must be gripping. Oh, Johnny Morton fans must be dying. Ben Johnson's got the Bears offense heating up. It was a great first 15 plays for the Bears offense. It was scripted beautifully. They went down the field. They led 7-0. They were playing bear down Chicago Bears there at Soldier Field, and the place was jumping. Rest of the game, offense didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Caleb Williams missed some big throws. He had DJ Moore alone for a touchdown. And the Bears fall to the Vikings 27-24. Give credit to Kevin O'Connell. That Vikings defense was flying around. The backup linebackers coming into the game, making plays. Wilson replacing Cashman. And that was a Vikings team playing without Darisaw and without Addison, and Cashman out most of the game. And they get that win in Chicago. I'm sorry. I feel better about the Lions' loss after watching the Bears choke away last night's game. That's how I felt watching that last night. Bears come to town to Ford Field. We will talk to Lauren Cox, the host of Locked On Bears, on Thursday for the crossover. Anybody watch Drew Dahlman try to play center last night for the Bears? Wow. You think Glasgow was bad for the Lions in week 1. Dahlman was not much better. I'll have to look up the PFF grades toward the end of the show and tell you what Dahlman's numbers were, but it was ugly. He was swinging and missing like Javi Baez. Whew. Mercy. All right, Robert Porcher coming up momentarily. Dan Campbell did do his normal, usual weekly radio hit with Jim Costa, John Jansen, and the 97 Won the Ticket morning show. What school did John Jansen go to? Does anybody know? Anyway, Campbell was asked about what went wrong and what he saw as the biggest problem on Sunday in Green Bay. And what's the one thing the Lions need to improve on the most for the Bears game? Here's what Campbell said, quote, communication. It's that simple. He did not think there was good communication in the game. He thought his offensive line should have communicated better. He thought the defense had some issues in communication. He also admitted that he should have played Christian Mahogany just in year 2 and Tate Ratledge, the rookie, in the preseason. It's a decision that he kind of thinks maybe he should have rethought. All right. Quote, with those two guys, yeah, we could have played them a little bit more in the preseason, but there again, you're not playing against their starters. That's why I liked the joint practices now just to get in the flow of the game. But yeah, probably. It's not more like more reps is going to hurt them. It's going to help them. So yeah, certainly we could have played them a little bit more. So it's going to take time. All right. You got new coordinators, you got a new center, new interior of the offensive line. It is going to take time. But I got news for you. Lions need to win this game Sunday because what's down the pike in Baltimore for a Monday Night Football game, that's a very good Ravens team. I know they choked away their game against the Bills, but Lions have got to come home and take care of business. And the Vikings ran the ball down the Bears' throats in the second half last night with both of their backs. Lions can score some points on that Bears defense. No question. Chicago came out, played great, but Minnesota in the second half wore the Bears down. Wore them down. All right, big number 91, Robert Porcher is going into the pride of the Lions. He is the next Lions Hall of Famer. That's going to occur on Sunday at halftime. That's the all-time sack leader, 13 years in the business with the Lions. An awesome honor for number 91. He is going to join us coming up next. Don't forget, appreciate our everydayers that are out there. If you want to be an everyday listener, find us. Locked On Lions YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. You want to be our call of the day, you can do so by going to www.speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page. Leave a voicemail, and we will play it on the show. We got a good one for you today. Robert Porcher is next. And Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. It's a game changer. It really is. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Just go and visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. And we're also brought to you today by our friends at the Gametime app. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in that stadium, surrounded by fans, cheering on your team. And let's be honest, it's a huge one on Sunday with the Bears coming to town. Getting tickets can be a hassle, though, between queues and login screens and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating, right? That's why I use the Gametime app, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. All right. I love the zone deals too. You pick the section, Gametime picks the seats, and you save big. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. All right, as promised, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. He's going into the Lions Hall of Fame. Pride of the Lions on Sunday at halftime against the Bears. All-time sack leader for the Lions. It's our buddy Robert Porcher. Rob, good to see you.
Hey, man, good to be seen. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your universe.
How have you been, man? It's you look good. You look like, the Lions had trouble getting to Jordan Love the other day. I'm sure you've heard this thousands of times. You look like
I saw it. I was a little surprised, but it's the first game of the season.
You look like you could get out there and help out.
I could not. I could. Here's what I'm telling you I could do. I could actually put on my uniform and still look like I can play.
Yeah.
But actually getting out there and doing anything, it would be a disaster.
You played 13 years in the league, and it's funny, Pride of the Lions is kind of a late blooming thing with the Hall of Fame. Did you ever think that you would be honored like this?
You know what? Maybe about, I don't know, maybe about 15 years ago. So I was just like, because, I believe it, I've been retired now for 20 years.
Wow.
So about 5 years after I retired, I was just like, well, what is the criteria? Because I know I have to be there. I know I have to be there, but I just assumed it would happen sooner or later. So now it has, which is good.
It is good.
And I'm glad it happened later, because my two youngest kids were, in college playing collegiate sports. I think if it had happened a few years back, they would have ended up missing it because they wouldn't have been able to not, play their team sport to come to this. So I think it's worked out. The timing is just perfect because now all of them are young adults and they can really, appreciate it. My younger daughter, she's been in London for the last 2.5 years in school and graduate school, and she came back 3 weeks ago. So I found out 2 weeks ago. So she actually came up to Michigan with me, and she was there. So it was good to, have her there in the building, because when I retired, she was 5, so she didn't remember any of that. So anyway, yeah, it's been good. It's been good. My parents are, excited. My mom called last night. It was just like, well, I think I'm gonna start packing now. So. I just want, so that everybody's coming up on Friday, so it'll just be good. It'll be a good time, and we'll get a win Sunday, so that'll be great too.
Let me ask you a question. You were talking about your daughter not really remembering your playing career. You ever pop in the tape or go to YouTube or anything? Is there any highlights that you go to show them? Is there something that's a favorite of yours?
No, you know what? No, I never really did that. Actually, my kids. So my son Robert started playing Pop Warner football the year I retired, and I began coaching, and I just literally every year or two, whenever he would move up, I would move up as his coach all the way through high school until he graduated, and then I finally hung up the cleats, but. I really didn't, show my kids a whole lot, especially him when he was playing, because I just didn't want that kind of pressure on him. I just wanted him to, play and learn and do all the things. And then I was there coaching, but I didn't want the constant comparing, because looking at highlights and all of that, it's me as an NFL player, you're looking at a finished product, whereas him in high school and, when he went to college, he's still developing. So, and I just didn't do it a lot. But, now that, his college career is over, and then, yeah, I talk smack and, say, hey, I was this, I was that. I just never did any of that when they were still playing.
Robert Porcher with us, of course, Lions all-time sack leader, a Pro Bowl defensive end, 13 years with the league, going into the Pride of the Lions this weekend. I obviously covered you back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
You're always good to me and to us, even when you got a lot of ribbing at DFN back in the day. But let me tell you something. You didn't like talking about yourself. You didn't. You were never that kind of guy. Is this going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you to have to make a speech and talk about yourself this weekend?
No, I won't, because it won't be about me. It won't be about me this weekend either. It'll be more about my teammates, because without those guys, none of this happens, right? My family, my parents, it's just, and then our fans, and even the the media. The guys who were on me when I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So I think it's about me, but it's about everybody else, and me just thanking them for all that they did that contributed to this amazing opportunity that me and my family are so proud of.
You were up for training camp a couple of weeks ago. How much have you talked to Aiden Hutchinson? How much do you want to give him advice, or is this somebody that you just say, listen, he's so talented, he doesn't need to hear from me?
I actually met and spoke with Aiden that day when I was there. That was my first time. I'm just one of those guys where I was like, I'm like the older guys were when I played. Like Bruce Smith from Buffalo Bills was my idol.
Yeah.
And when I got to meet him and hang out with him the first time after my rookie year, I was so excited, but had so many questions that I just had to pace myself, because I didn't want him to think it was weird or anything. But I just, I was like, I am not gonna not take advantage of this opportunity and ask questions. And I've just always done that over the years. And, that's how I am with players. If they ask questions, then I will definitely give my advice on things that I see. But if they don't ask, then I just don't. I don't think I should impose at all. So,
how much do you watch the current edition?
I think Aiden, to cut you off, I think he's off to a great start. I think he is off to a great start, and I think this year will be interesting for a number of reasons, because now, folks are going to be aware of where he is and where he's lining up every place. So, with a lot of success comes a lot of pressure, but I think he's fine. He looks good. I was surprised that he had been cleared, for full contact and everything, but, I think he has to just work through it and get back in shape. That's what I saw Sunday when I watched the game. They just didn't look like they were in game shape. They looked like they hadn't played a lot in the preseason. The starters. That just was my observation.
Do you watch every game? How much are you following this whole thing? And can you believe what the current edition has turned into? I mean, a 15-win team last year. Unbelievable, right?
It is incredible. But you have Brad and Dan have done a very good job with in the last couple of years stockpiling draft picks, and they've done for the most part pretty well with those draft picks. Nobody's gonna, be 10 out of 10 on all your draft picks, but you want to hit on most of them, and I think they have done a good job of that. And the players that are there, those players have bought into Dan's philosophy. Everybody's on board. Everybody seems to have that same look, where they're not just there to, showboat and be about me. It's about the team and what they're doing, and I like that. Because you see it from everybody.
Yeah.
You see it. You see it from Goff, the quarterback, and if you have your quarterback who is bought in to the system and what's happening, and then you got your top players on the team buying in, when other guys come in, other free agents, there's no choice but to get in line and do what they're doing. So I think that's good, and they'll be fine.
Were you on any teams like that? Or do you remember, is there one team that stands out? You went, man, that was a special group, because you were on some good teams.
I was on some good teams. We had some good teams. We a lot of times we just kind of faltered, man, in the playoffs, and you just can't do that for a number of different reasons. So, you know, it was a good time. I enjoyed it, but I really like seeing the younger guys now playing and how they move around, how they are just the excitement that they've brought, and they seem to be a complete team. I think they're just going to have a little bit of learning curves because you have two new coordinators. So they'll do a lot of the things the same way that they've done before, but it's a different team this year, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. I think that loss Sunday, and it actually wasn't that bad. Really wasn't. I know it looked bad because my son and I were watching the game, and then like by the end of the first half, I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Oh, I got you. Go ahead. Keep going. I think you're on mute, my man. Minor audio glitch there with Robert. You were saying before about coming back and seeing everybody. I wanted to just ask you last thing. Is there somebody you're most excited about seeing that maybe you haven't seen in a while that you'll see in Detroit on Sunday?
No one in particular. I actually came last year for the for the homecoming weekend. I usually come every 3 or 4 years. So when I came last year, I wasn't planning on coming this year. So the Lions called me a couple weeks ago. It was just like, "Hey, do you want to come to homecoming?" I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna sit out this year." I was just there last year. So they was like, "Okay." So then about a week later, they called back and said, "You sure you don't want to come?" I was just like, "Well, I'm gonna be in town. I'm getting my knee scoped. I was supposed to get my knee scoped yesterday at Henry
Oh,
Ford."
wow.
So I was like, "Well, I'm getting my knee scoped, so I'll be in town, but I don't want to chance, you know, being up and around, putting too much pressure on it." So I was like, "No, I'll just sit out. I'll just sit out." So then 2 weeks ago, when I went over there,
Yeah.
when I found out, I was like, "Okay, now I see why." Yeah, okay, so now I see why you kept asking about a couple of weeks back. So I just rescheduled my surgery for the end of September. So we're all good. But I'm just excited anytime I get back, man, and get around the guys because I played with when I came in '92. I played with some guys that were there of course, guys that got drafted in the '80s. I had one or two older guys that were late, like '79, that was there like my first year. I played with all the guys through the '90s and then the early 2000s. So there are a lot of guys, man, that I had the opportunity to play with over my career with the Lions.
Robert, it's great to see you. Great catching up. Congratulations. Well deserved. And good luck on Sunday. Have a lot of fun with it. And hopefully we get a Lions win.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you, man.
Great, certainly catching up with Robert Porcher. Lions and Bears coming up on Sunday. Locked on Lions today, brought to you by FanDuel. NFL season is underway. FanDuel making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, whether you're a player prop guy or building a same-game parlay or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, appreciate Robert Porcher joining us. Well-deserved and excited about Robert getting into the Lions Hall of Fame, the pride of the Lions, Sunday at halftime of the Lions-Bears game. He will be presented with his, blue jacket and give a little speech. Big number 91, man. 13 years with the Lions, the all-time sacks leader, always was an absolute class act. Got to thank our friend Risa Balaam also for hooking us up with Robert. Risa did an unbelievable job for many, many years in the Lions PR department and still stays in touch with a lot of the fellas. All right, time for a call of the day. And this one is special because it comes to us, for us, from somebody that was at Lambeau Field on Sunday, Scott Donnellan, who has an interesting story to tell. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Matt, this is Scott Donnellan. Just wanted to do this for the first time. Proposed at Lambeau this weekend and turned out to be the only highlight of the day. First off, terrible experience at Lambeau. Packers fans complaining about Lions fans being not knowing how to win and all that. They're classless. Terrible. I'll never be back in that stadium. With that, how worried should I be about this year with our O-line looking how they did, shuts down our magnificent run game from last year? Should we be mad at Frank Ragnow for retiring and after we let Zeitler walk? I mean, it's just a lot going through my mind right now. You are the voice of reason, so hopefully you can put my mind at ease and tell me something I don't know and tell me to stay calm and be hopeful for this year. But it's just, man, we really didn't show up to Green Bay, and it's really not surprising. Just, I guess, growing pains is what you can call them. But yeah, looking forward to hear your take, Matt. Thanks.
Our man Scott Donnellan and his now fiance Michaela got engaged on the field or in the end zone overlooking Lambeau Field on Sunday morning before the Lions-Packers game. I saw the picture. It's phenomenal. Congratulations to Scott and Michaela on their engagement. Scott's been working on this for a while, but he had a nice in to get in there, which is awesome. But like he said, he did not enjoy the game on Sunday. Look, bottom line is this, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. We talk about it Thursday with Lauren Cox from Locked On Bears. The Lions just have to do a better job up front. It's as simple as that. The offensive line played a horrific game. They were bad. And the defensive line wasn't much better. So win up front, get back to the basics. I think Robert brought up some good points about first games for Glasgow back at center for years, for the two coordinators. I think they laid an egg in week one. They did not get it done and did not play well at all. But I think you're going to see a turnaround on Sunday against the Bears and better focus, better communication, like Dan Campbell said, and just they've got one under their belt. But I think what was just most disappointed was, and I saw Glover Quinn say this the other day on his show, for a week one where there's so much energy and you're so healthy, and that was really, really disappointing. And they also just got their asses kicked. The Packers are good. Very good. All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks to Robert Porcher. Thanks to everybody for listening or watching. Thanks for making us your first listen, everybody. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We are back again tomorrow, and then Lauren Cox from Locked On Bears on Thursday for the crossover.